Hey there, welcome to the Uplift. We've got a great show for you today. Great cast of characters as well. Among them, these. A couple, they tied the knot 56 years ago and became newlyweds again. So what's the story between their recent wedding, decades after they met the first time? We will get into it. Also, a mom affected by loss and grief decides to dedicate her time to helping other mothers experiencing the very same heartbreak. And Steve Hartman gives us a lesson in motivation in his Kindness 101 series. And he was given a plane ticket to a surprise location and a mission to find a story in just 48 hours. Where did David Begnaud end up? You will find out coming up in just a moment. You know what you're watching, The Uplift. Hey there, I'm Tony DeCopel, and this is The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes, you and me as well. And we're going to begin with a story from Steve Hartman's Kindness 101 series. It teaches us all about character and empathy and friendship. And today's lesson, motivation.
Good morning. This is my daughter, Meryl.
Hello, everyone. Today we're talking about motivation. But before we do, let's start with the definition from my brother Emmett at the dictionary desk.
Good morning, Meryl. Motivation is what powers people to achieve a goal. It's basically the reason we're able to accomplish what we accomplish.
Right. Motivation is the driving force behind our actions. I mean, without motivation, we'd just be sitting here right now, staring at each other. So what's our motivation for doing this?
Well, you'd get fired. It'd be kind of embarrassing, and people would change the channel.
Get fired, people will change the channel. I think we're motivated to help people by doing Kindness 101.
Yes. To motivate others is probably the best motivation of all. And today's story is the perfect example of that. It's about a boy who found purpose and passion thanks to a few choice words of motivation.
He was only in third grade, but Henry Boyer already knew what he wanted to be. A passion he discovered after attending a University of Michigan football game.
They were that good?
My mind was blown of how good they played.
But it wasn't the football that he fell for. It was the marching band. And from that moment to this, Henry has been rocking out to their CD.
Let's go blue!
And watching old halftime shows on YouTube. He even wrote a letter to the band saying how he'd love to sign up someday. In response, they sent him a bunch of swag and a card, inviting him to audition when he's old enough.
I just really liked the card.
What were you feeling in that moment?
Surprised and heartwarmed.
His mother got it on video.
What did they say?
They said they going to accept me in a few years.
Into what?
Into the marching band.
Are you excited?
Yes, I'm really excited.
That was nice of them, huh?
After that, Henry asked his mom if he could double up on piano lessons and started taking drums too.
Like the card said, practice hard and I will practice hard.
So you can get there someday.
Yes. I just have a really good feeling that I'm going to be in the marching band.
If all goes as planned, Henry will join the band in the fall of 2029. But we thought, and the school agreed, that's an awfully long time to wait for a dream to come true. So we set up a little surprise, right behind this door.
No way.
Henry, this is your Michigan marching band.
No way.
Oh. We're so excited to have you here with us, Henry.
I can't believe I'm here.
The Michigan Marching Band wrote out a single note, and just look at the symphony that followed.
You got it.
A masterpiece of motivation that struck a major chord in this young man's life. So now, hopefully, no matter where his music takes him, Henry will always follow the lead of this marching band and play it forward.
Nice job.
You guys have the best music ever. I can't wait to join.
Oh, yeah. It'll come soon.
Henry Boyer joins us now. Hello, Henry.
Hello.
What was it about the card that you found so motivating?
Having the entire band believe in me. It was just this
crazy feeling of joy.
And the band had you back again?
I was able to lead them to the stadium, the big house. They brought me to the field. I was able to go onto the field.
And I imagine that motivated you even more.
Oh, it 100% did.
Yeah.
What if Ohio State offered you a spot in their band?
I'm not gonna say yes.
That's what I figured.
Okay. Henry, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad we didn't just sit here for 5 minutes staring at each other.
I am too.
And hopefully, we motivated you to inspire the Henrys in your life. We'll see you next time.
And don't forget to stay kind.
Prince William, moving on to our next story, recently gave out the annual Earthshot Prize, which awards innovators who are working to solve environmental problems, some big ones. Ben Tracy introduces us now to one of the finalists from these United States, a finalist focused on the clothing industry.
We're on a mission to protect the planet from the cost of clothing.
Connor Hartman is Chief Operating Officer of Circ, a climate tech startup in the former textile mill town of Danville, Virginia. It's trying to fix the unfashionable problem of clothing waste.
Where does most of our used clothing end up?
Most of it is ending up in landfills or incineration. There's a garbage truck of fashion waste that is dumped every second of every day.
That's because much of our clothing, especially inexpensive and trendy fast fashion, is a blend of cotton and polyester, a form of plastic. It's been nearly impossible to recycle until now.
It's like a little mad scientist.
Circ invented a way to separate the two through a chemical process.
Our process, for lack of a better term, is a pressure cooker. Water under heat and pressure with some responsible chemistry.
So it's a very fancy Instapot.
It's a very fancy Instapot.
Both materials can then be used again to make new clothing, like these shirts retailer Zara created with Circ's technology.
So this is the first recycled poly-cotton clothing item.
You got it.
The impact could be huge. The fashion industry is responsible for about 10% of annual planet-warming greenhouse gas emissions. That's more than all international air travel and maritime shipping combined. Right now, less than 1% of textile waste gets recycled back into textiles.
We can overcome our planet's greatest challenges.
Prince William is giving Circ a big boost, naming it a finalist for one of his Earthshot prizes.
When you guys found out you were a finalist, what was your reaction?
It was pretty emotional, honestly, and to get this level of recognition for a solution that we know is going to be the future is really inspiring.
Circ plans to open its first of several industrial-scale factories by 2026 and refashion the way our clothes are made.
Because we have all the clothes we need to make all the clothes we'll ever need.
Coming up in just a moment, David Begnaud heads to a surprise location in search of a story he doesn't know what it's going to be. Where did he end up? What did he find? It's a place he was able to locate some good food and a gondola ride. Plus, 56 years together, this couple became newlyweds again. Their love story coming up. 56 years ago, Terry and Joyce McMichael tied the knot in a small ceremony, no wedding party at all. So decades later, at the ages of 75 and 79, they made a decision. They would become newlyweds again. Here's Mark Strassman.
It's a symbol of my love.
Terry and Joyce McMichael's big day was a long time coming.
We met in San Francisco in
the summer of '67.
Yeah.
And did you know right away? He was the one?
Oh, yes. I mean, it was, yes.
He was 19. She was 23. Smitten, married right away, but no wedding.
We went to Justice of the Peace and got married.
And why did you do it that way?
It's the easiest thing to do. And we didn't have much money back then.
56 married years later, the McMichaels live at this Atlanta retirement center. They're now 75 and 79 and still smitten.
I asked them about their wedding and they said they never had one. She said it was something that she would want to have. And I said, hey, let's do it.
A wedding coordinator helped plan the big day. There's a cake, a videographer, a stylist, and of course, her wedding dress. All professionally done, all donated by a touched community.
We laugh a lot. I guess that's the secret.
We're still the same people that we were before the wedding.
What if she says, I don't?
Oh.
Well, she might. You never know. She wants to remain my first wife.
Yes, yes. First and only. Look at you. Very special lady.
This time, with a dress, the guests,
We gather here today in the presence of friends and family.
and all the magic of a proper wedding.
You may kiss the bride, Mr. McMichael.
All right.
56 years is a long time, and why not celebrate that? We celebrate everything else. Let's celebrate love.
Terry and Joyce McMichael, newlyweds again, and proof that love is worth the wait.
Coming up, a woman hoping to bring comfort to others experiencing the pain of pregnancy loss. She's doing it one handmade blanket at a time. Time now to introduce you to a mother who experienced a heartbreaking loss and was then motivated to help others who have experienced precisely the same loss. CBS Minnesota's Kirsten Mitchell has our story.
They are, the perfect size just to be comfy, cozy.
Ashley Leeser
Really soft, very fluffy, machine washable. Had to throw that in there for the moms.
has crocheted baby blankets for friends before,
It is a labor of love.
but these ones are going to strangers
Creativity is a really great antidote to grief.
who left the hospital, like she did, empty-handed.
The same hospital doors that everyone's walking out with their car seats and new babies. So as you're walking out next to that, it's a really painful feeling.
During a 14-week ultrasound, Ashley found out her baby girl passed away.
Your whole world comes crashing down.
It was Valentine's Day.
I know I have a pamphlet with 3 options on a chart, but really the only option is going home and waiting.
A few days later, the blood loss nearly took her life too.
I thought for a moment as I was on the stretcher going out that I was going to be taking my last breath. And so I just called out. I said, I love you, Landon.
Landon is her 2-year-old son.
Because I wanted those to be my last words.
She went to Maple Grove Hospital, where she is now giving back to other women experiencing pregnancy loss, one blanket at a time.
When I bring a blanket to a patient, I say, this is from Ashley, and she wants you to know that you're surrounded in light and love, and that she doesn't want you to feel so alone.
The hospital has a bereavement program, but nurse Jenny Berger says it's not always the case.
I think there is a lot of work to do when it comes to how we take care of these families.
I'm not able to fix the healthcare system overnight or by myself, but we can at least provide comfort and warmth for women who experience this today while we figure out ways to make it better for the future. This particular type.
Up next and after the break, David Begnaud takes a gondola ride, meets a home chef, and runs into a man with a job that only 2,000 other people in the entire United States happen to share. Where is he? What does he do? We will tell you. That's up next in a moment. As part of a series for CBS Mornings, Set Your Alarms, David Begnaud has been given a mission. Fly somewhere, anywhere, find a story in just 48 hours. Well, during one recent trip, he found a man whose job requires skill and dedication and excellent timing.
Good morning.
Here is your ticket.
Where are we going? Oh, Providence, Rhode Island. That should be fun. 9:30 flight.
So once I knew where we were going, I had to get there and find a story in just 48 hours.
Have a good day. Thanks, you too. Wish us luck. Here we go.
And to kick things off, after I landed in the city that is known for its art and food scenes, my team surprised me with a little adventure.
Hi.
Very nice to meet you, sir.
Very nice to meet you.
Marcello the gondolier.
David, nice to meet you.
Who knew you could take a gondola ride in Providence? But hey, let's go.
Santa Lucia. I don't know what the heck they said, but that was beautiful. What is Providence treasured for?
Our founder, Roger Williams, founded a settlement where anybody who wasn't welcome anywhere else was welcome here.
We felt that walking around Providence.
David Begnaud, nice to meet you.
David Beckham.
No, that's the soccer player. Begnaud.
Oh, Beckham.
Begnaud. I'm looking for a story.
You are.
Yes, ma'am. And Greg Stevens has a lot of stories. As the fourth generation owner of Olneyville, New York system, which boasts Rhode Island's best hot wieners. Okay, so it's a German sausage topped with meat sauce, mustard, onion, and celery salt. Woo! Being the picky eater that I am, I was a little hesitant. But hey, Steven said, try it.
There's a lot of flavors in there.
Keeping it the same, that's our secret.
Now, before I boarded the flight in New York, I posted on social media asking people, hey, you got any story ideas for us? Send. And there were hundreds of people who responded saying, cooking con Omi, or cooking with Omi. So I said to my team, hey, you want to go by her house and surprise her? Hello, Omi.
Oh my gosh!
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Surprise!
She had already heard on social media that we were in town looking for a story. Naturally, she started cooking. She gave us that Puerto Rican favorite, tostones with a little ceviche.
Thank you.
She's become popular for cooking on TikTok, and it all started with an Instagram post at the height of the pandemic.
I was at the grocery store. I was in the parking lot. It's where I often went to go cry because we were struggling. And I said, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna get what I need, and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna cook. On that very day, I turned on my camera and I said, anybody wanna cook with me? I'm lonely.
Since then, Omi built an online community, cooking right from her kitchen. It earned her a spot on the second season of the TV show Next Level Chef.
It made me feel like I was supposed to be doing what I was doing.
I just love when people find their purpose. Well, another bite down, more to come. So we headed for Federal Hill. That's the Little Italy section of Providence, to see who we'd meet next.
I love a meatball.
And then this happened.
Car's right here.
When I left the Italian food market, I noticed a man who was helping a woman who was clearly struggling to walk. So I offered to help them.
I'm Mitchell. Your name?
David Begnaud with CBS
David,
News.
pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So we're actually in town looking for a story. What do you do for a living?
I'm a watchmaker.
A watchmaker?
A watchmaker, yes.
I don't feel like I've ever met a watchmaker.
Mitchell and his mother were in the valet parking zone, and I didn't want to hold them up. So we said our goodbyes.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Take care.
take care.
Good evening.
So as Mitchell and his mom drove away that day, I kept thinking about him. Something about the way he spoke, his articulation and diction, and I thought, I wonder what this guy's backstory is. I had given him my number, and sure enough, about 5 minutes later, he texted me.
And based on what he said in that conversation, I told him, Mitchell, we want to make you our story. And the timing was perfect.
So first of all, nice to see you again.
You as well.
I mean, the way we met is wild.
It was serendipitous.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. Meant to be.
Mitchell invited us into his workshop here at Providence Diamond. I learned that Mitchell Thompson is part of a small and elite group of Rolex certified watchmakers in the United States, and he's just 25 years old. Mitchell masters the craft of both repairing and rebuilding luxury watches.
Who gave you your first watch?
My mother.
How old were you?
I was 8 or 9, and she said, well, you're going back to school, you need to know how to tell the time with hands, no digital watch.
He now owns 25 watches. And it turns out studying languages was his first love. Luxury watches came next. He enrolled in watchmaking school in Pennsylvania, fully funded by Rolex, with only 11 students in the graduating class.
What is it that you love about watches?
I love innovation and I love the cultural significance of the watch.
What is the specialty that a watchmaker possesses?
Passion. If you don't love this, there's no place in this business for you. You have to love it.
Why?
It's very similar to the focus you have when you thread a needle. You have to do something over and over and over again. Biggest example is a loose screw in a watch, and you're checking every single one every time. And if you miss one, that can stop the watch.
You know, 50 years ago, Rolex says there were more than 30,000 watchmakers across the country. Today, there are less than 2,000, and we just happen to run into one of them.
So what is your takeaway from this experience, meeting us, telling your story, being the one who we decided we wanted to tell the story about?
Well, I find it a reinforcement for a belief I've always held, in that things have a way of finding their place, and it never hurts to ask, "Hi, what's your name?" because you never know where it leads.
As you did, and I'm glad
right.
you did.
Well, thank you.
So thank you.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure.
You as well.
You know, in 2 decades of telling stories, I've learned that random encounters can lead to some pretty meaningful moments. You just have to be willing to lean into it, time and time again.
David, thank you. Speaking of time, time is up for us. That is our show. I hope it brightened your day, lifted you up. I'm confident it did. If for some reason it didn't, reruns, they remain free. I'm going to go find some good news. See you next time. Time.